Hello, hello everyone. Thank you for joining me today. So, my talk today, I wanted to focus on a lot on relationships. And I know I talked about this before, but I wanted to go more in depth about this. Because for me, I had a lot of realization, especially recently. Because in 2020, I want to say, I started changing my thought process and the way that I seen the relationships that I had with others. And it had nothing to do with Corona. It had nothing to do with being stuck inside. It had nothing. It just happened to be a coincidence that it was the same year. But I believe that might have something to do with a lot of spiritual awakenings that took place around that time. I was already deep in my spiritual awakenings by that time, but it was at this time that I started more to focus on the relationships that I was sharing with others. And in 2020, it was very important because I changed my way of thinking. I changed my way that I viewed the relationships around me. I became more aware. And in doing so, a lot of people had to go. And it kind of hit me today because, I sometimes look at those people that I dropped because, at one time I was very close to a lot of these people, like thick as thieves. And sometimes, I just look to see how they're doing in life, even though, like it's kind of like from a distance kind of thing. Like, I don't want to be in your presence, but I was watching and looking, and I kind of come to this aha moment because I was remembering why I'm not talking to a lot of these people anymore. And like I said, it had a lot to do with my train of thought at that point in time and how I was very aware of the relationships that I had with people. And I noticed that a lot of people were in my life for varying reasons. And most of those reasons were for their own selfish desires. It wasn't because they loved me. It wasn't because they cared about me. There were some people in my life that were in my life just to watch me fall. Like, they literally was just waiting to see if I would fail. There were people in my life that only came to me when they wanted to talk about their problems, but any other time I don't hear nothing from them. It's crickets. But every time they have a problem, they want to come to me and vent. So it was a lot of one-sided relationships. And I had gotten rid of so many people that I had lost track. That's how insane this purging was for me of relationships. I literally only had my family, which is my significant other and my children, my best friend, and a couple acquaintances. Like, literally, that's all that was left. For the most part, there was even barely any family members that I talked to. Maybe I could count as many family members I talked to on one hand, literally. Like, that's how many family members I talked to. And I think the big thing that made me want to do this was that I was tired of one-sided relationships. I was tired of feeling like I was forcing myself on others. I was tired of you want to be my friend? You want to hang out? Do you want to hang out? Do you want to hang out? And, just constantly being turned down or just made to feel like I'm not important enough to be around them. But you still want to be in my presence, though. That's what really got me. Like, it didn't make no sense. Like, why am I forcing a relationship and initiating everything in these relationships, and it's one-sided? They're not initiating it back with me. I'm giving, but all they're doing is taking. And it got to a point to where I was just being observant of and aware of every single relationship around me. And as soon as I seen that person's true intentions, or that they were not honorable, or that they had ulterior motives, it didn't take me nothing to get rid of them. Whereas before I might have tried to be lenient or understanding, I had to understand more that this is about me and my happiness. It's not about you stealing my energy and taking from me. It's about me feeling genuine connections, honorable connections, people that I don't have to feel like I'm imposing on you just so that we can be together or have a connection or a relationship. And once I decided that, it was like they just started dropping off like flies. And it saddened me in some ways, but in a lot of ways I realized that my true happiness is more important. And I also kind of felt a little stupid for not seeing it sooner. But although it's a lonely road, the spiritual path, and putting yourself first, and in some ways it's going to be lonely and you're going to be sad, but I honestly was more sad forcing myself on people that didn't want me around, didn't want my relationship, didn't want my connection. So, to all those who may be feeling that same way, it may seem like a lonely road at first, but once you come to that realization that what you want around you is genuine connections, you'll see that it's far more important to establish those connections, even if it's with only a few people, instead of establishing many connections with people who wouldn't give a shit about you. And that's just real.